Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to Food Chest. It's your main man, Prince. What's going on, people? I hope you're doing good. By the way, first and foremost, 1K subscribers. Thank you guys a lot. Thanks for walking with me. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for engaging with me. I really appreciate it. Much, much, much appreciated. If you haven't done so, you come across this, kindly subscribe to the channel and watch my content, man. It's very educative. I'm informing people, letting you know of things. So, if you if you like Nigerian authors, you must know about Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So, she's the author of Half of a Yellow Sun, The Thing Around Your Neck, Americana. She just came out with a new book called Dream Counts. I haven't read it yet. I'm gonna definitely read it. I think she's a great author. Even though in recent times I don't agree with some of her ideologies and some of her thought processes on different things, but all in all, I think she's a great author. I think she's a great advocate. I think she's a great person and very intelligent. I love talking with her. I've met her before. And she signed one of my books, so I rock with her. So she was on Trevor Noah's podcast, What Now, and very interesting conversation. Very, very interesting conversation they had. I was rocking with the topics they discussed. However, I felt tension amongst them. Of course, Trevor Noah was South African. You had Chimamanda and Christina, who were Nigerian, Igbo women to be exact, and it was nice seeing them converse and seeing them talk about the various topics, including some of the topics relevant to her book. So it was good just seeing that conversation and hearing them out. And I took away something very interesting from their conversation, which is culture and political ideology. And that is one of the areas that I was interesting to me, and I wanted to share with you guys. So listen to their discussion, and I'm gonna kind of say my take on it, and I would definitely love to hear what you think as well. All right, so walk with me for a minute.
Everyone in my life who I didn't agree with on an issue, I would have no one in my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, this is a gospel that needs to be preached more in America.
You think in America particularly?
Yes.
Tell me
This is
more.
not the case in Nigeria, for example, and I would argue in most of Africa. People know that you can disagree with a person and still have a relationship with them. I think what's happening in the US is a kind of, this kind of practice of purity, this kind of, you have to have these particular views, otherwise, and then the moralizing of opinion. So somebody feels a certain way about something. It's not just that you think they're wrong, it's that you think that they're bad people. And I think that moralizing then means because you think this way, you're a bad person and I cannot talk to you and you cannot be in my life.
Yeah.
I think it's a particularly American thing. I really think so. And it's quite contemporary. It's recent. I came to the US in 1997. I don't think America was like that when I came to the US. I think it's recent.
Do you find it like that?
Well, I came to America in 2014, and I say this a lot, and maybe I'm coming from a Western lens of being in the UK and communicating with my friends in the UK. I think in the UK also people are wearing their politics more, or whatever their label of whatever you identify as, whether Republican, Democrat, socialist, or whatever, and that is being at the front of a conversation in a way that is tainting how you can experience a person in real life.
Yeah.
In a way that I didn't feel when I first came to America.
When you first came.
Really?
When I first came, yeah. Because remember, I came when Obama was still in power.
You're not wrong, actually.
Yeah, when I
You're
came at the tail end of Obama, everyone assumed Hillary would win. And to be a Trump voter was a very quiet thing. I mean, we only discovered there were so many voters when the guy won. Because it was just those red hat people over there. You never thought it was the people around you. And I think there became this scrutiny after Trump won. Did you vote for him? Did you vote for him? I think you voted for him. That suspicion.
Yeah.
Or people who weren't in active mourning that Hillary wasn't president. And then it changed the timbre of our interactions in a way that I don't think we've recovered from or gone back to. And I think that's even deepened now in his second term.
And I always try and grapple with this. I try and figure out, especially now because I spend more time in South Africa than I've done over the past 10 years. So when I was doing The Daily Show, most of my life was just in America, and in the US, I couldn't really leave much. And now I get to spend more time going back to South Africa and traveling around. And one of the biggest things I've realized is in America, more than most places I've been to, people wear their politics as their culture. But where I'm from, your culture is your culture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
know what you mean.
So no one would dare say where I'm from, I am a Republican or I am. No. I'm Xhosa, I'm Zulu, I'm Tswana, I'm Pedi.
But that's
I'm,
also because our politics in Africa is not ideological, though.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
But it's not, though. Is there in South Africa a party that you could say is on the left and on the right and in the center based on their policies?
You know, now, I know it sounds crazy, but because of Trump, they're emerging in some ways. But previously, there wasn't. Let's put it this way. All the major parties in South Africa will have very similar promises or ideals. They just have differences on how they believe they're going to get there. So most of them wouldn't argue that healthcare is a right. They all go like, no, everyone should have healthcare and there should be free education. But then they'll argue about the permutations of how to get there. And I think that, in agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about I think that this kind of polarization, even that word I don't like, I think it preceded Trump.
Interesting.
I think Trump made it worse. But do you,
I think it was. I felt it with Trump.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a result of like the bubble I was in myself.
Yeah.
I just think we're in a time where people feel really defensive about what they believe, and there's not much space for negotiation.
Absolutely, yeah.
I felt
like from the conversation, I think if you caught the last part of it, they talked about, Chimamanda mentioned the fact that it's like an American, talked about the fact that you can disagree with someone and still be cordial with the person. That was kind of the premise of her argument. And Trevor Noah indicated about the fact that in the US, like your political affiliation kind of determines, it's like your culture. While in other parts of the world, and staying within context of their discussion, in Africa, it's not the same thing. And then Chimamanda came that, well, in Africa, political parties are not based, their foundation is not on specific ideologies, which I think is correct, right? And again, like ideology politics, right? So here in America, the liberals are the far left, the conservatives are on the right side. And of course, there are various types of political ideology. You have anarchism, communism, conservatism, environmentalism, you have the fascism, you have the feminism, you have, you have the liberalism, you have various political ideologies. And I think that, and I kind of agree that living in the US, right, I think that it's much, much prevalent nowadays for one's political ideology determines one's self. So, for example, when people meet people who voted for Trump, they view you in a certain lens, right? They see you as maybe you kind of imbibe or you inculcate within yourself everything that Trump represents. And if you didn't vote for Trump, then it's the opposite, which I think is a dangerous line that people have begun to toe in this country. And I think that Chimamanda is right that within the Nigerian context, political parties are not based on ideologies, right? They're just based on parties. People's culture is void of political parties, although they try to bring in tribalism, which birth favoritism in politics within Nigeria, which is a different story. But I think fundamentally, ideology of like being a liberal or being a conservative is not stuck to any political party. I think political parties within the Nigerian context, you can have liberals, you can have conservatives within the same political party. I think that the major thing is the agenda that they have. And I think that's why politics in America is very tricky, because it's like if you're a Republican, then you have to, it's a must that you have to believe in everything Republicans represent, and vis-a-vis if you're a Democrat. And I think that brings about a situation whereby you can't really have a discussion that is void of that is void of that this is where you belong. And that is why most of the time when I listen to a lot of political pundits talk, they can't really say that, oh, this person is wrong because that person is part of their political party, hence their ideology, hence their culture, right? So I kind of see it, and I think it's a very interesting discussion. And I think it kind of opened up my mind to like, oh, okay, so this is why, certain things are how they are. I don't know what you think, right? Do you think this is true when it comes to, even like the other lady Christina mentioned, in the UK is becoming a thing that people's political parties, it's part of now their culture. People hang it on themselves as this is who I am, which I don't subscribe to that belief. I think that you can have a political ideology and then you can have your own culture of what you believe. Maybe in this term you voted for this party because you are vibing with what their agenda, and the next 4 years you vote for another because that's what I would think. So, but I don't think, man. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that this thing is something that is prevalent that in the US, in Western societies, and it's kind of more prevalent now with Trump being in office? And do you think that Africa is, like Trevor mentioned, that in South Africa, because of Trump, is becoming a thing? I mean, my South African folks, is that really true, or do you stand with what Chimamanda said, which is that that is not possible within the African context because African political parties are not based on ideologies? I think it was a very interesting conversation. I think it's like very telling on the society we live in today and what is gonna become part of the fabric of society going forth, especially with the political sphere that we are in. So I think it's a very interesting conversation. Let me know what you guys think, man. And always, this is Full Chest. If you haven't done so already, kindly subscribe to the channel. And yeah, man, stay tuned, stay locked in.